Hey everyone, how's it going? This is Michael for Spirit Comics. I ran across this article and I'm not sure about it. I mean, I'm not that I doubt the validity or anything, because I don't know the people at Bleeding Cool. Okay, I don't know them. I've read some of their articles, but this particular article, the content of it just seems, I don't know. Anyway, I'll read it to you. Tom King announces Sanctuary about DC superheroes dealing with mental trauma of violence. This was published by BleedingCool.com. Posted by Jude Terror on January 13, 2018. And he writes, at the DC and DC panel, The Aftermath, Battle, and Trauma in Comics, writer Tom King revealed a new upcoming project called Sanctuary, about a place where DC heroes can go to deal with trauma resulting from the violence they're part of on a regular basis. Okay, now let's get this clear first. I like Tom King's writing. I do. He works on Batman, and he's put out some stellar issues and some that were not so stellar. But come on. I mean, the reason I read comics is to escape the annoyance of the real world. The people who are constantly bickering and debating and griping, complaining, which is enough to give me a migraine. And I have dealt with my own share of trauma, just not in the same way, not mentally. I was born with epilepsy, and I have been through my share of experiences because I've had numerous seizures in my lifetime. I'm now 44, and there's parts of my life that I can't remember that well because I've been banged up so much. But this is not about me. Superheroes are supposed to be the ones we look up to, the ones to take the punches, to take the hurt, so that we don't have to. All right, right now, I'll, from this first paragraph, this sounds like identity politics to me, but only done in a way that's more intelligent, I believe. Next paragraph. Every DC comic is full of violence, King explained at the panel. Well, no, that's not really. I mean, Batman and Superman go on a double date with Superman married to Lois Lane, and Batman is engaged to Catwoman. Hello, Tom King. Remember you did 2 issues where it was just about a double date? There was no violence involved, if I recall. So every DC comic is full of violence is not a correct statement. He says, it's fun and exciting, and I enjoy reading about that. But do we talk about the consequences of that, both on the characters and the readers? And they asked me to think about that and do something with it. And we are. Hello. These characters are larger than life. Batman is someone who is extremely rich, and he has loads of money that allows him to do whatever he wants, but he chooses to fight crime. And yes, he carries the weight of his parents' death on his shoulders to this very day. He's never let it go. Superman, he's more positive, but yet he still sees the violence in the world. He's been beaten up. He's been killed and come back to life. Green Lantern has died and come back to life. It's like it's normal for these guys, you know. And anyway, Tom King goes on to say, it's called Sanctuary. He continued, we're creating something where it's sort of like a crisis center for superheroes. It's going to be DC-wide, all the superheroes. And it's going to be a place where these superheroes who are living violent lives every single day. Batman gets in a fight every night, 5 times a night. Well, that's true. But he does it for a reason, because he's protecting others, so they don't have to get in fights and get beat up. He goes on to say, we're creating a place superheroes can go that mimics the good work people are doing for veterans around the world. King explained. Really? You're going to compare this to help for veterans, where they have a space where they can actually admit that this violence has consequences for them and has affected them mentally, so that your greatest heroes, who are inspiring our children, can say proudly, yes, I've had some mental difficulties, and yes, working with people has helped me through them, and I don't hide behind that. And the next paragraph reads, King didn't reveal when the project will be released, but it got a huge response from the crowd at the panel on social media immediately afterward. So it looks like a lot of people will be anxiously awaiting more information. We'll keep you posted. Okay, thank you, Jude Terra, for this article. I don't know if that's going to sell. I mean, that's something you have to really think about when you go to do a new book. And DC just canceled Superwoman after 18 issues. So I don't know if this is going to be a miniseries or if it's going to be a regular series like a Marvel Comics many years ago had Damage Incorporated, which was a comic book that showed how this Damage Incorporated comes in after every brawl and battle and cleans up the mess. Well, that comic didn't last forever. I'm not even sure how many issues it lasted, but it wasn't that great. You know, it wasn't that interesting. You know, people who have problems, whether it be mental trauma, epilepsy, or something else, they know they have problems. They don't need a comic book to identify with. At least, that's my opinion. This might not sell, and yet it may. But to me, this sounds like identity politics. And no, I have not read the comments. But we can go ahead and do that and see what people are saying about this. This is a great idea. I applaud DC and Tom King for this. Another person, DC is just killing it right now with interesting new takes on the superhero genre. And this person says, I would imagine it would be I imagine it would, but hopefully the title will have a strong, recognizable hero presence. Hope they give this title the maturity rating it would need to truly delve deep into these subjects. Maybe Vertigo? Well, if it's going to be DCY, then it won't be Vertigo. Because, like the next person says, Vertigo hasn't been connected to the main DCU in a while. So unless Mark Doyle changes that for his Vertigo reboot in August, I doubt it. They'll probably use the same strategy as with Batman White Knight, Mr. Miracle, and the Wildstorm imprint. Still DC, just more adult. Well, I haven't read Batman White Knight, and I haven't read Wildstorm, but I am enjoying Mr. Miracle. That's pretty good. And you know, this person says, and the navel gazing continues to send mainstream superhero comics deeper into the sunken place. This is a stupidity and unnecessary idea. What's next, DC or Marvel? What's next, DC or Marvel? Going to put on a comic showing superheroes dealing with consequences of CTE? This is escapist fantasy originally aimed at children, all ages. It's not real. That was by Blade X. I have to agree with him. It's not real, and to show superheroes coming down to our level, I mean, how can we look up to them anymore if they come down to our level? Marvel Comics put out an 11-issue run of the comic Hulk. Jennifer Walters trying to get back to some sense of normal life after being put in the hospital by Thanos during the Civil War saga, which I did not read because I wasn't reading comics at that time. By the time I got back to comic books in 2016, Civil War is basically almost finished. But the Hulk series, it had its good points and it's had bad points. But the main problem, well, there were several problems, but not having Jennifer Walters being that larger than life, tall, green, beautiful She-Hulk, that was the main problem. Instead, it brought Jennifer Walters down to our level. I mean, usually a superhero just BAM bounces back. They get hit, you know, and they bounce back because they're super heroes. SUPER. They're super. They're greater than us. They're fictional, but they have powers we don't. They can do stuff we don't. I mean, I don't really think this is such a great idea. And these people say reflecting something. I'm not gonna go there. Every fantasy needs a hint of reality. No, it doesn't. In other words, if fantasy has even a hint of reality, then it's not fantasy. Escapism is one thing, but letting all ages know that they're not alone if they start feeling this way connects them. Oh gosh. Originally aimed at children, but not anymore. Okay. Let me see here. I'm going to pick up 2 comic books right now, and let's see. I saw this on one of them. I can't remember if it was on a Marvel comic book or a DC comic book, but it was recent. And it said, you know, I think it said for children. it doesn't have to be escapist fantasy. I'd rather good stories, escapism or not. Watchmen is arguably the greatest comic book story of all time, and that's not exactly escapism, for example. I've never read that one, so I can't say anything to that effect. And the same person, Blade X, says a couple quick points. I would argue that the fact that most of the DCU and the MU superhero comics are no longer aimed at all ages, just not children, is one of the main reasons, but not the only reasons, why sales on their books are so damn low and continue to fall, with the exception of the usual short-term sales boosting gimmick, series, and other gimmicks. Despite what most fans and pros might believe or want to believe, making the MU and the DCU superhero comics more mature and aiming them at older readers is not bringing in a boatload of new teen and adult readers. Sure, you might get the occasional new teen or adult reader, but rarely happens. And that's true, but that really doesn't address this whole issue of making superheroes into weaklings, that they need to go into some support group and talk their problems out. It's just not gonna work. It just will not. I don't believe it will work. I'm sorry. I don't think it's gonna be a good idea. And only time will tell. But the main indicator, is it going to work or not, will be at the checkout counter. Who's going to buy it? Well, if a person buys it, then the company's going to earn some money. If people don't buy it, then DC may have to think, perhaps this wasn't such a good idea after all. So to me, this seems like identity politics, just on a lower scale and done in a more polite way. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. If you're not yet subscribed to my channel, please do so now. And smash the bell like She-Hulk so you'll be notified of all new uploads. Also, please do like this video and share it with others who might enjoy it as well. Till next time, true readers.